about where we're gonna finish. Okay, where we're gonna finish, where we're gonna end up at. And I personally feel like everybody on this call is very passionate about building generational wealth. Everybody on this call is very passionate about being the change we desire to see for the future, for our children. Everybody on this call is very passionate about community. Everybody on this call is very passionate about working together as melanated people. And so that's why I'm personally excited about being a part of this, is because I'm working with we get to work with like-minded individuals. But yeah, so tonight the call is going to be about investments. The crazy part about investments is when most people think about investments, they only think about money. But there's so many forms to investment, because investment is really just an energy. And so you can always tell what people investing into with the reflection of what their life is showing. And so people that invest their money, they have money. People that invest love, they have love. People that invest anger, that's what they have, so whatever you're investing in, that's what's going to return to you. And so anyway, before I bore you by going on and on, I am going to introduce our speaker, which will be Martin Glenn, who's an educator, a business and life coach, a funding manager, community developer. The list go on and on. This man wears 20,000 hats and he wears them all well. I am so grateful to be on his team. So grateful to be building this and just doing all of this right along with you. Martin Christopher Glenn.
Well, thank you. Thanks, Sabrina. Hey, I'm happy. That, everybody's on. Of course, we have a lot of people that will be coming late. Unfortunately, a lot of us had that CP time, as they say, but it's been actually a couple months since we had our last actual Masternomics meeting. Been doing a lot as far as developing the land, acquiring funding. Masternomics is actually in the process of having a school in Ghana. So been very active. Although we haven't had these sessions. So as we continue to build the Phoenix movement itself, the Phoenix movement, like any other movement, has to have key players and has to have people that are like-minded, right? And so we have to understand and comprehend wealth and how wealth is created and money in general. All right, so I myself, of course, have been, own multiple businesses and been engulfed in business my whole life. But unfortunately, just like everyone else, came up out of the school system and have been indoctrinated. When I got into business, I was taught the basics, which is the basics of a old way of thinking, and that's supply and demand. So, we're taught about money on a very minute level, and this is done on purpose, because the ones that control the wealth, this 2%, they understand how money moves. First of all, they understand what money is. They understand currency, and that's because they have a understanding of law, and I'm talking about universal law. Universal law trumps every other idea and belief system that you deal with. Universal law is and is absolute, and it does not care about your feelings. It just deals with definite demands, right? Definite demands. So if you understand the law of compensation, you'll understand you have to invest, right? And so what Sabrina said in short is that when you look at a person and you look at their life, what you're seeing is the results of their investment, right? Some people say that's harsh, but that's how we have to look at things. So when you see a person that's on the physical, minute aspect, that's massively successful, has a lot of, money and capital, that is the result of an investment. All right. Now, of course, if you're conscious of your culture or your Blackness or whatnot, then you understand what was done to us in America, right? When people violated the law, but they still applied the law. And this is what I mean. They might have stolen and kidnapped people, but they understood that, wealth is based off of having a resource in time. Unfortunately, we were their resource, Black people, right? And so we built a country built on our backs, and thus the people that was had their foot on our necks, you know, reap this wealth, and that's why they're so wealthy today. So that was that's an investment. You see what I'm saying? As brutal as it may seem, and as it is, right? All these are dealing with investing something and receiving something back, right? It's compensation, okay? So when you think about your life, let's say, how much money do you make? How much money are you worth, right? That's going to be in direct correlation to what you've invested in. So, you know, if I was to ask somebody, you know, do you have any assets? You know, what's an asset? The first thing somebody would say would be a house. Well, do you have a house? No, if you don't have a house, well, what assets do you have, right? Some people say none. Well, what have you actually invested in? And people, the first thing people say, well, I don't have any money to invest, right? And so this is what we're talking about today in brief. It's that concept of what investment is and understanding that it's spiritual first, and then it plays out in the physical world. So you're always investing, right? You don't ever stop investing, right? Wherever you put your time, right? Wherever you put your energy, right? You're investing in that. That could be in a relationship. If the relationship is not getting you anything out of it, it's probably a bad investment. You know, unfortunately, we hear people say, I gave him 10 years of my life, this and that I invested in, I ain't getting nothing out of it, right? In an economic sense, we would say that's a poor ROI. ROI meaning return on your investment. So in a relationship, if you want to get something out of it, you got to put something in. This is law, right? So I'm into farming. If I want to reap harvest, I got to what? Plant a seed first. I got to invest my energy and cultivate that ground and plant that seed. I got to put the right amount of water on it, right? And in some months, it's time to reap harvest, right? So these are universal laws. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Can you guys see that? Somebody nod. You can?
Yep.
All right. All right, so you see Masternomics. What Masternomics is about is personal development and professional development. Actually, before there was personal development, there was self-mastery. Actually, we're into teaching self-mastery, which is pure spirituality as it pertains to you mastering yourself. You have to know thyself, as our ancestor Tahuti, who the Greeks call Thoth and Hermes, who's actually our ancestor, taught that, know thyself. It's on the walls of Egypt. If you know yourself, you're mastering yourself, right? That's the one job you got here while you're here, and that's to master yourself and self-mastery. So Masternomics is a combination of the word mastery and nomics. The suffix nomics in Latin means laws of. So we just combined it and we said the laws of mastery. I myself a student of Dr. Claude Anderson. You can research Powernomics, right? So I'm into economics, and because with economics, you can shift people. With economics, you shift people's life, right? With money, economics, and the understanding of it, you create the life that you want. So this is why this is so important. But it's most important that you understand it, not just on that physical level, but you understand it on a spiritual and mental level, right? So that's what Masternomics is. All right, so money. Think about what you was taught about money. How is money made? Okay, you see this E. What you have right here is called the money motion circle. Okay, it's the money motion circle. What does that mean? Money has to move. It has to flow. It's a current. It's energy, okay? Energy is always moving, right? You can't kill energy and you can't destroy it, but it will take on another form. Thus, What happens when people are employees, they make money. And if they don't know how to move it for their benefit, it's going to move. A bill is going to eat it up. Somebody's going to need some money. Life is called life. We live in a world of vibration and movement. Everything is moving. So to generate wealth, you had to learn and understand that if everything is moving, how can I dictate the movement? What you mean, how can you do it? You have the ability, you have the power. So the money motion circle shows you how money moves. You see this is a circular motion. That's what that symbolizes, movement. You'll see in the middle of it, you see a DNA strand, symbol of DNA. Well, the DNA symbolizes what's inside of you. All the riches and all the wealth that you ever could want or imagine is inside of you, right? It's not in the banks, it's inside of you. So understanding money as you think it on this physical level is produced with thought first, right? So wealth is made, people say, well, money, it takes money to make money. No, that's the lowest form. That's what they taught you in school. They taught you that for a reason. But the people that have wealth understand, no, it takes ideas to make money, right? Because if I have that right idea, what's going to happen? It becomes magnetic and people want to invest in it, right? So the ideas are inside of you. The thought is inside of you. There's unlimited ideas or potential inside of you. So this money motion circle starts with you right here in the middle, the essence of you, right? It's the inner workings of you. Now, on a physical level, how do we make money? You see that E? The E stands for employee. Employee, you work for somebody, you make money, you're an employee, okay? Right? The S, self-employed. You work for yourself, you make money. B, business owner. You own a business and you make money from the business off of other people doing things. Then the highest level of people with wealth are investors. They just keep investing in things, right? So they invest in ideas. So the guy that comes up with the idea really is controlling the wealth, and then people are investing in it. You see what I'm saying? Well, then it just keeps going full circle, okay? So to grasp or understanding, this is how it's taught on the physical level from employee, self-employed business owner to investor. We're dealing with the other side, and that's the creation side. That's the esoteric side or the spiritual side or the internal side. And if the universe operates off of 360, which is a cipher, it's a circle, right? Where is the beginning of the circle and where's the end? Right? Is there a beginning and is there an end? Or is things just constant, right? So you begin with the end in sight. So if your goal is to have wealth and to become an investor, right? That's where you're going to start off. You're going to start off with an investor mindset. This is the way it's taught on a esoteric or metaphysical or highly spiritual level. They teach you the opposite way. They teach you to labor, to be an employee and to move that way, and then self-employed business owner in the last form. But if you start off at the highest form, right, which is the investor, then you're already really there once you grasp it, okay? So now this is a circle. You see the money in motion, right? So now what is investment? Investment is an asset acquired or invested in to build wealth, to save money from hard-earned income or appreciation. Investment meaning is primarily to obtain an additional source of income or gain profit from the investment over a specific period of time. So think about that, right? Build wealth and save money from hard-earned income or appreciation. This is their definition. You can get this out of the dictionary. So they're telling you that you take an asset, right? You invest in it to build wealth. You save money from hard-earned work, right? So first of all, they're teaching you got to work hard to get this money. They're teaching you that for a reason. You can buy into their thinking, right? And then you can be what most Black people are today, just consumers. They just consume things, right? Because they work hard, we work hard, but we don't understand what investment is. And we don't understand appreciation, right? So they say investment primarily to obtain an additional source of income or gain profit from an investment. So think about that. If you're not making enough money, well, how would you ever have money to invest, right? So first of all, they lock you into thinking you got to work hard. Well, to work hard, you're working for somebody. What does it take? It takes time. So if you're working 8 to 12 hours a day for somebody, you're eating up all your time, right, for a small wage, and then you're hoping you're going to have something left over to invest, but we're dealing with inflation. That never happens. This is how they teach you. Business, the practice of making one's living by engaging in commerce. Business, the practice of making one's living by engaging in commerce. Okay, that's business. Commerce, money, the movement of it, engaging in it, right? You're making a living. So this is why business is so important. You say, well, you know, I'm not really into business. Your life is business. You're signing contracts all day. You're marrying people. You're signing contracts. You're in business. They put you in business. Whether you like it or not, you're in business. You're getting taxed, right? So people that are poor, right? Or if you can't even literally invest legally if you don't really make $250,000 a year. So just think about that. If you're not making $250,000 a year in this country, they say, well, you're non-accredited. I mean, you're really not making enough money for you to really be investing in nothing. These are the rules that they made. You see what I'm saying? If this is unfamiliar to you, then you can check that out. Was accredited investor and a non-accredited investor, right? So a non-accredited investor is a person that does not make $250,000 a year or does not have $1 million in assets. Now, you see the neighborhoods that our people live in, how many of them make $250,000 a year, right? Pretty much none of them. And they're settling for checks now. They want government assistance. So they're taking you out of the ability to ever invest. And the only way you will ever have freedom is you have to invest in it, right? So, so right here. So now you know what investment is. So when I teach in Masternomics, like I said, I start with the end, the investor. The end is really the beginning, right? Alpha and Omega. So when you see this I, the I stands for investor, but the I represents the tools of your initial investment, right? So when I talk to people and they come in my office, the first thing I say, well, what does your business need? The first thing they always say, I need some money. First thing people say. If I was to ask anybody on here right now, you know, is your business struggling, right? Are you successful? You know, are you hitting your mark, right? You know, is your business making over $250,000 a year? So you could even be literally an accredited investor. If you say no, I say, well, what's the problems you need? Most people say, I need some money. I had some money. You think money would just solve everything. That's because most of us don't understand how money is made. So because you have a lack of understanding, you think money is the answer. But guess what? Black people in this country is one of the 4th largest, what's the term? Economic system in the world. That's how much we spend, trillions of dollars. So in other words, just the Black people in America are the #1 consumers. #1 consumers. So do you think we're lacking money? We're not lacking money. We're lacking the financial understanding and understanding of how money is created and what money is supposed to do. Money is supposed to flow. It's supposed to have a movement, and that movement generates wealth and it cultivates you, and we should be wealthy. Everybody likes to throw up, hey, Black Wall Street, rebuild Black Wall Street. You won't ever rebuild anything if you don't understand how to make that dollar move in your community amongst yourself. And by default, it's going to produce wealth. And then we have our own banks and we create our own lending institution. But money starts with investments. So just because you do not have money right now, you are an investor by nature, right? If you talk to a farmer, the first thing they'll say, oh man, you've been a farmer. It's in your blood, it's in your genes, right? It's in you to invest. Well, the first investment is what you're doing right now. It's investing in something that's going to give you a good ROI, a return on your investment. The best investment is to invest in building this, right? You were given gifts that make you wealthy from birth. That's your imagination. Your imagination made you rich and wealthy. It's a gift. So you was given unlimited wealth. You was given unlimited money. So if you understand that money is created from ideas, why aren't you producing ideas that will change your life? So businesses don't need really money, they need a mental shift, right? So when you understand how to get in business and take it to the next level in life for you, it's understanding, how do I use my mind? How do I use the gifts that I already have, imagination, right? So I'm the CEO of a multi-million-dollar tax franchise, okay? When I was born in 1976, that was in me. This is not the end of me though. That DNA strand has unlimited wealth, right? So within me was already the ability to be who I am today, right? No one on the outside can ever decide that. You see, that you have unlimited wealth inside you, right? Now, if I go back 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when I said, okay, I'm gonna start this tax business, I didn't have any money in the physical sense. But what I did have was an imagination. So I was able to use my imagination, produce a worthy idea. See, it's not about just ideas, it's a worthy idea. What does a worthy idea mean? If you come to me right now and say, man, I got a way we can make $1 million. And I say, how? And you say, I'm gonna make an app that people can just, you can download and you can get a ride everywhere. You can go to another city and then you can get a ride from somebody and we'll put taxis out of business. I'm gonna say, that's not a worthy idea. Well, why not? We can make money. I mean, Uber is being done. You got Uber, you got Lyft. You ain't thinking nothing new. You late. You should have thought that 10 years ago. The idea is not worthy, right? So, but if you have a worthy idea that's created with your imagination, people will invest in it. But you have to invest in yourself and learn how to use this and cultivate this mind. So when I came up with the idea, okay, I'm gonna do this business, right? I use my imagination. And if you can imagine things and you can dream, right? When you dream, money doesn't matter. So if you're really imagining and dreaming, but you're putting a limit on your dreams, then you really need a mental shift. Because dreams, you should be as rich as you can imagine. You should live in the biggest house and everything, right? Because nobody can cap that. Now here in the physical world, you might say, well, yeah, I got to get the money to get it. But it starts in the mind first. So you're the first investor. So it's understanding you, and being an investor is you investing your thoughts in the right things, right? If you're looking for a woman or a man or a business partner, you got to invest the right thoughts in the universe, right? Oh, I don't just want, any woman. I want a woman that's going to help me make some money. I want a woman that's going to do this. I got to do that. So the thoughts, you control the thoughts, right? So you have to be definite with your thoughts, right? The universe is abundant, it's infinite. So you got to be definite with the infinite, but you got to begin with the end in sight. So you begin with how I want this to end, right? So when I started, one of these companies, I said, well, okay, I'm going to get in the tax business. I said, I want to call it global. In order to make millions of dollars over and over again, it got to be big. Why would I want a little small shop that I can set up on the west side and some street in Alabama? That won't get me millions. So when I started, I said, well, the name got to be big, got to be global. It enabled me to grow. I began with the end in sight. The end is what you see now. So now $1 million is, it's good. It doesn't really excite me like that, right? Why? Because I've done it, right? So now how can we go 10 times it? Now I got to use this again. So I'm constantly investing. And that's what you have to do. You have to constantly invest, right? Invest with this first. Use your imagination. That's the I. See that I? And we know we could get deeper in the I, but we're not going to be on here all night, right? What's another meaning of the I, right? Intuition. Intuition, what is it? The ability to understand something immediately, right? Without the need of conscious reasoning, right? Such as we shall allow our intuition to guide us. Instinct, intuitiveness, a sixth sense, clairvoyance, second sight, divination, right? What is it? Intuition, the ability to understand something immediately without the need of conscious reasoning. Now, what does that have to do with investment? Well, let's just think about something. People invest in businesses. Probably everybody out here has a business, right? If your business is not doing what you needed to do, right? First, you have to have your image. We got to make sure you got your image. So that was the imagination. Once your image is firm, once it's clear and you know what you're focusing on, right? You get in alignment with what you want. When you get in alignment with what you want, everybody, if they're not in alignment with what you want, they'll start falling away. You ain't gonna have to tell them to quit calling you. They're gonna quit calling you because they're gonna say, oh, he always going to a seminar, he always talking about this, she always talking about that. Those people are gonna fall away because you're in alignment with that image of what you have to become, or the business, or whatever you're doing, or the relationship you want. You're in alignment with it, right? So then what kicks in? When you tap into yourself so much, what kicks in is called your intuition. It's your intuitive nature. It becomes a second sense of what? For you to get exactly what you want. So it's just like, well, why do they say, well, women, they have naturally more intuition because they give birth to humans. And so by nature, they know I have to nurture and protect my child, right? So if you talk, I remember when I was young and I was in high school, right? And I'm like, okay, mom, I want you to meet this girl. Now, my mom's first job is to protect and guide me and get me to the level where I could take care of myself. They said, okay, yeah, she sounds good. Yeah. When she met her, as soon as she laid eyes on her, something kicked in. Oh, that girl ain't no good. As soon as she walked out the door, Chris, don't bring her back to my house. I'm like, what did she say? I'm telling you, I just sent something. And sure enough, you know, I'm hard-headed. But 3 months later, yeah, mom, you was right. She wasn't no good, right? What did she know? That was her intuition. How did it? Because she is aligned and designed to do a specific purpose, and that purpose was to nurture me, right? So once you get that image, and that could be your business, that could be whatever it is, you develop an intuitive nature because you focus and you concentrate, right? That you're really manifesting. Manifestation takes concentration, visualization, meditation, right? That produces manifestation. All of those things have I-O-N on the end, right? When you, in the English language, when you put that I, that O, and that N, that, what does that mean? That means progression and movement, right? So it's manifestation. It's something that's done over a period of time with you getting involved in it, right? So now when you're investing in yourself. If you want to be free, if you want to be financially free, you got to invest in the right materials, right? I can tell you what I invested over 20 some odd years ago when I went to college and wasted money. It was the worst investment, the worst ROI, return on my investment. I got nothing out of it, so I walked out of it, right? So when people come and they say, well, I want you to coach me this and that, first I tell you, I find out your problem. I tell you what you need to do. Say, okay, this is your problem. And you say, well, what's it gonna cost? It's gonna cost this, you know. Before I ask you the cost, what I say, well, this is what I can do. I can show you how to take your income and I can triple it. How would that sound? You made 20,000 a year. Well, wouldn't you like to make 60? Would your life change? Yeah, I get a new car, I get doing that. Right. Well, you know, what would you pay for that? If I show you how to triple and quadruple that income, what would you pay for? Man, shoot, I pay whatever. I say, okay, well, this is my price. Then you start shaking, right? Because you're not beginning with the end in sight. You worried about, you know, what it's going to cost. When people pay thousands of dollars to go to university, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt to go to university, and they don't learn nothing about the universe. They ain't teaching you nothing. You see what I'm saying? So the best investment you can make is in developing yourself. So that's why we have this company, Masternomics. It's self-mastery. So when I'm talking business, you notice I'm telling you about business, but I'm telling you about yourself, right? The best business people are the ones that master self. They're not the ones that know the most technical terms and can break down, you know, all these different terms, whether you're in real estate or you're in working in some law firm. That's not the most successful people. The most successful people are the ones that execute. They have the best habits, right? Think about the wealthiest people on the planet. Are they the smartest in book sense? Steve Jobs quit college, right? We know all our brothers from Jay-Z, Master P, they didn't get that bread off of, you know, no from the university. But what they did was they developed themselves. It's called discipline, right? And the discipline starts with you, okay? Discipline is not what people think. People think discipline is, you know, if you be bad, I'm gonna spank you, right? That's the way we was taught what discipline is. Discipline is a punishment for something. No, discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and to follow through with it, right? It's the ability to give yourself a command and to follow through with it, right? You have to first develop that on a personal level first. Financially successful people first have personal discipline, okay? So if your life goal is to say, you know what, I need a partner, I need a man, I need a woman to do this. Well, you got to be disciplined. You got to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and analyze yourself and say, how am I getting these results? Oh, I'm dating the same person over and over again, right? Right, that's insanity. You know, you're doing something over and over again thinking you're gonna get a different result. That's insanity. You see what I'm saying? But if you are disciplined, you say, okay, I can't be around these type of people. Ain't no sense in going there because this is why I'm meeting these people. Now the temptation gonna come to you, but once you gave yourself a command and you created your own Bible and your Bible says, I'm not going to bars anymore. I'm not talking to guys that aren't willing to commit. I'm not talking to women that don't want to do this. Whatever it is, right? I'm not being around people that don't see my vision in business, right? You give yourself that command and you follow through with it. That's discipline. Then you reward yourself for it, right? So first, what you're really doing is investing in yourself, you see? And if you invest in yourself in forms of self-mastery and understanding and mastering yourself, what you do is you create the habits that help you on the outer part of life. So then when you do get money, you've already disciplined yourself so much, right? That once you do have this wealth, now it shows in the physical world because you got excess and you can make an investment in some property, right? You can invest more to take care of your children, right? So it's all about understanding what investment is, you see? So to gain the knowledge and keys to the universe, right? You don't have to pay the UA and all these schools all this money. What are they really giving people? Debt in a failed system. And they know the system is garbage. So that's why they're like, we done indebted all these people. Let's try to wipe away the debt. Some of them say, we just want to wipe away the debt. But that's a trick too, because they're going to wipe away your debt. But they're not telling you that it was a trick, that the whole education system was garbage anyway. But once they wipe away your debt, then people are going to go and they're going to still keep fueling the system because the government is really paying for the debt, but they want to indoctrinate you to keep you where you're at. Why do you think they want 2% of people with all the wealth on the planet, right? So the ones that had made all this wealth and robbed and raped and pillaged the planet and did slavery and all this, is it any coincidence they became the richest, the Rockefellers? And then these guys created your education system, which taught you about money, which you fast forward 100+ years in 2023, and Black people here, and that you still not making $250,000 a year. You still can't even be an accredited investor. You still can't invest in yourself, but you got access to Google and you got access to all this. But nobody want to invest in a course. Nobody want to invest in something that's going to take their life to the next level, right? We still want to invest our time in worthless people, men, women that ain't giving you nothing, right? We still investing, over-investing, people in their 30s and 40s, and you're over-investing in the physical parts of you, right? All you're thinking about is something physical, getting drunk, getting high, laying up. That's all you're doing. And then you really, if you're lucky, you got another 30, 40 years. Right? When you're going to invest in yourself, right? When you're going to really invest in the freedom and liberation of your people, right? So that's what we're talking about. And if we're going to build something, this has to be what's embedded in you, you see? So what I do is I always tell people, I don't help people with businesses. I create business owners. I got to create your mind, right? And you got to grasp your greatest source of power in this world is the knowledge that you are not of this world. Your greatest source of power in this physical world is the knowledge that you're not of this physical world. What does that mean? You're going to die one day. Physically. But we know your consciousness, your spirit, your soul transcend this physical body. We know that because we acknowledge our ancestors. And once you become aware of them, you can feel them. So if your real power can't be seen, then it's not of this world. If you learn to tap into that power, there's no amount of money that you can't have. There's nothing that you cannot do. So great people, when you see people and it seems like, oh, wow, stuff just works for them. Oh, my, why is it? Stuff I was working for. It's easy for them to say they got money, you know. They tap into something. It's called God, and it ain't out there. It's inside you. You see, the power that's within is not from here. It's not from this physical world. If everything is moving, right? Does anything really die? No, because you can't kill or destroy energy. It just takes on another form. Right. But if I can teach people, men and women, to totally just identify with this physical part of them, right, then I beat them because they don't understand how to invest. They don't understand what investment is. They still thinking, well, I can't invest because I ain't got no money. Money is not made from money. Money comes from ideas. It comes from you. It comes from source energy, right? Before there's physical money, there's a immaterial version of it. Everything that you see physical exists in the spiritual world that has a spiritual counterpart that predates it. There's two creations. One is spiritual and one is physical, right? So this is where we have to go, right? This is why you're on here. You in business, are you executing? Are you making the proper investments, right? To reap the harvest, or in the business sense, get a good return on your investment. Right. One of the best investments I did was I got rid of people that wasn't in alignment with my vision. I got rid of them. Stop dealing with them, period. Right. So if you was in my old life, and my old life to me is hell. Right. Then if I wanted heaven, I had to create my heaven on earth, and that was getting rid of people. Right. But I didn't pick up the phone and say, look, get out of my life. I got this straight. I got my vision, right? I got the image of who I wanted to be and what I want to do. And everything just started coming towards it. Then I became more intuitive because I was in sync with what I wanted to do, right? Guess what? People just started falling away. All the fake homeboys, all the women that want some money, they was gone. They gone. I ain't had to tell them. I just got in alignment. You see what I'm saying? Right. And so if you want to be highly successful, so I'm not teaching people to be successful because probably everybody on here wants freedom, justice, equality for our people. And that starts from you internally in your home, right? You want to be the CEO of your household. You see what I'm saying? You can't think, I just want to be successful. You got to think, I want to be highly successful, right? You got to think, I want to be excellent. You see what I'm saying? Average, everybody, what is that? You know, I talk to people and they say, man, I want some money. I just want a little bit. If you ain't saying $1 million, I'm like, dang, what? You don't want nothing because money, the dollar ain't worth nothing no more. You know, if you drink milk, that's what, $5, $6. You gotta want something nowadays. So this stuff is important. You see what I'm saying? This is my partner used to say, you need money, you gotta put it up there with oxygen. Put it up there with oxygen, right? That's what we gotta be. So you back at this right here, that money motion circle, right? That's what it's about. Understanding that there is a flow. Money has to move. There has to be a flow. So in your life, guess what? If you got something that's stopping you, if the money ain't flowing in your life, somebody's blocking that. You got to be able to identify those blockages. You see what I'm saying? The way you got to be more intuitive. The way you become more intuitive is you know what you want. You got to have a vision. It got to be clear, right? And you got to be willing to sacrifice some things because it's all about you. So that's why I say I start from the end, which is the beginning. That's you. That's the I-ness. That's the investor, right? You. This life is for you. At the end of the day, you came in here by yourself, and when you go, you ain't taking nobody with you. But what are we gonna do while we're here, right? So we are so needed. Everybody on here is needed because we're the people that make things move. If you're in business, then you understand one thing: money moves things, right? And the problems that are happening in society, whether it's through education, whether it's the criminal justice system, whether it's the penal system, guess what? Money affects it. You ever wonder how laws are made? Money. You wonder why these people get this stuff and get that stuff? Money. So if we're talking about liberation, we have to understand how money moves, how it works, and how it pertains to us in this day and time, right? So that's the importance of investments to take your life and business to the next level. Time to go to the next level. It's time to turn it up another notch, right? And that comes from understanding this. That comes from you being able to take this information and give it to somebody else. It comes from you saying, my business, making whatever you're making right now, that ain't gonna cut it. That's not gonna cut it, right? If you're in you're a client-based business and you got 10, 20, 30, well, however many clients you got I'm not operating at a highly successful level.
I didn't understand.
You see what I'm saying? And that's where our mindset has to be, a level of excellence. Everybody on here, we're permeating excellence, right? Masternomics is mastery. Master yourself. Become the CEO of your household, right? Master it. Become disciplined. Do things that make you uncomfortable until they become comfortable, right? And then guess what? You just keep moving up another level. You know, that's in every aspect of your life. I've been going out here and see, I don't know if there's any comments or anything. Is there anything, any questions? Does anybody not understand anything about investment? Any comments on investment? Understanding what I mean when we're going from the esoteric, the metaphysical level, and how it transcends into the physical level of how money is made. Well, I take it that, the information.
What was the points of manifest? Okay, you said manifestation. You need, I know, meditation, imagination, and what was the third one?
You need visualization,
Visualization. Thank you, baby.
yeah. Visualization, concentration, meditation. The imagination is actually mixed into visualization because that's the image part. So once you get an image of something, right, then you start to visualize it. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, so those are our ingredients to manifest. And the thing is, it's just popular now. People say, well, manifest this and that. I want to you are always manifesting.
Something.
Right. What you say, Will?
Yeah, you always manifest something, good or bad. Manifest something.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, the thing is, and that's very important because it's the way we've been taught about the universe or God. We've been taught to look at things as good, bad, but what we call good and bad are based on our physical senses or what feels good to you. So if it's based on your physical senses, then it's really a personal thing, right? So if I was to ask somebody right now, tell me what bad is. In order for you to try to reach me, you're going to give me something. You're going to give me your perception of what bad is. You see what I'm saying? Because if I ask the old Confederate guy, who was in the Confederacy and whenever in the war in the 1800s and they're fighting the Civil War, somebody that's fighting for the Confederacy is going to say, man, I'm fighting for my people, man. This is the greatest good. This is the preservation of our way of life. That's what the Confederates believed in themselves they were fighting for, right? The people on the other side said, well, I'm fighting to keep the Union together, and the slaves in the middle like, man, look, we fighting with whoever say we gonna be free. So good or bad was all based on what was relative to you, right? But at the end of the day, everyone is manifesting their reality with their thoughts, their unconscious thoughts, right? Because those are the things that are on autopilot, right? So if I program somebody into feeling, black is bad, or I'm dark skinned, that's not good, hair should be this certain way, or black people are lazy, right? These are my beliefs. So whatever you believe, you manifest, right? And so even on a biblical level, what Jesus said, as a man thinketh, so shall he be. This was somebody that was giving you spiritual universal laws. It wasn't just he wasn't a religious teacher. He's just teaching you. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, brother teacher. I tend to pose a question to a lot of people sometimes that they really can't never answer because they never thought of it. When I ask them, if you had the power and the authority, how would the world be? Average person has never even thought of it. And that was always kind of shocking to me because I was the one who did think of it. You know what I'm saying? But most people don't even, like you say, want to manifest the thought process of how would the world look if I was in control?
Right.
So they never seek power.
We
never seek control.
Right.
Because like you said, we're not even trying to master ourselves, let alone master the world.
That's right. Right.
So that's why I say, like with your master knowledge, of course, I told you I like the name of it, especially the concepts. We have to start looking inward so we can have an outward expression of what's on the inside. But we got to understand that we need to have control and authority and dominion as God gave over. We have to be the ones in charge. Why are we sitting waiting, letting somebody else dictate to us how we want the world to be? Like you said, with the education thing, they're educating us just to work for them. They're not educating you to be a thinker.
Exactly.
They never teach you to be analytical. They don't want you to analyze it. Assimilate. They want you to assimilate so that you can work for them. PhD, doctorate degree, master's degree, All they want you to do is say that, okay, you know how to do this, work for me.
Exactly. Right.
You would think with a master's degree, I don't need you, right?
Master.
I'm the master.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah, the
that's
thing is, the thing is, think, like the word think. The thing is, most people don't think. And that's the problem. See, we think we're thinking, but what we're doing is we're picking from multiple choice. So multiple choice is no choice when the man gave you the choices. So if you notice the way they teach in school, they teach as if first of all, they tell you there's one answer to a problem, but that's just not how the universe works. You see what I'm saying? So they teach you one answer, and the reason they do that because it's to indoctrinate you to one way of thinking. So they say, well, in order to progress in here, you have to answer this way. If you don't answer this way, you're a bad student, right? In other words, that's basically a way of saying you're not a good slave, right? And therefore, we kick you out or we won't give you good marks to progress in life. So they really stop us from thinking the way they teach us in the education system. So really, entrepreneurship is so big because it opens the door to freedom, right? So an entrepreneur realizes, wait a minute, there's more than one answer to a problem. You see what I'm saying? So if the problem is there's not enough jobs, what does the entrepreneur say? He says, well, I'm gonna create a business that's gonna create more jobs. You see what I'm saying? So what they did was they killed our entrepreneurial spirit, or they killed the God spirit, because what you call entrepreneurship is really a creative energy. We by nature are creators, right? We really aren't followers. We are thinkers. We're the only beings on this planet that are in the animal kingdom that can actually think consciously. We're the only ones that can actually change our environment. But what they did was they killed our creativity and created a system. They rule by systems that cuts off our cognitive reasoning or our thinking. It stops us from thinking and makes us just accept things, right? And so that's why in the test, they give you answers. Answer A, B, C, or D. Well, what's your religion? We give you multiple choice. You can be a Christian, a Jew, or Muslim. Anything outside of that, that's you just a cult. So they created these things to keep you in control. You see what I'm saying? So what we're saying is, if you want freedom, what is financial freedom? It's simple, right? It's being able to control your environment. When we talk about economics, right? The word eco, right? Economics, right? You take the word eco is ecology. It's the environment. So when you're talking about economics in a commerce sense, you're talking about the wealth or money in an environment, an ecology, right? We call it a community. They took out the common unity part and made it just a neighborhood, right? So there's no wealth in a neighborhood because there's no ownership by the people that are living there. So we're renting everything, right? So we don't have the tools or the asset to create wealth because we're not in any form of ownership, right? So that's what we're talking about. If you're talking about you're going to recreate Black Wall Street, the first thing you got to do is you got to get some land, right? Because all our structures have to sit on land, and that's wealth, and it's tangible, and it's not the dollar, it's a real asset, right? So these are the keys to our liberation and the keys to our freedom.
Shay.
Okay, before we get off this call, I just want to say, I don't care how many times I hear you do this same speech, I feel like I get motivated all over again every time I hear it. And I just want to show something. I have heard him say this speech so many times, but even while he's speaking, I am still taking notes. Because when you are taking notes, when you are physically writing things, you are helping program it into your subconscious mind. And so we only remember 10% of what we hear. We only remember 20% of what we read, and we remember 30% of what we see. But you are tapping into a whole new realm of being able to manifest things and to be able to keep this information and retain the information by taking notes. And so I don't know, I just felt like the need to be able to say that because these classes is so much information. Every time you can hear him say the same thing over and over, but every time you hear him say it, you're going to get something different out of it because we're constantly evolving. And so one minute you may feel it spiritually, but the next minute you may feel it on an esoteric level, or, you know, you may see it on a financial level, or you may see it on a emotional level. But okay, yeah, it was a loud something or whatever. But yeah, so I just felt like the need to say that, because it's like so many people do not understand the power of writing things out. So many people don't understand the power of actually taking notes. You can't retain information just by hearing it one time and then you just being done with it. That's just like reading a book and thinking, oh, I know how to do this just because I read the book one time. It really don't work like that. So knowledge is not power. It's not power until you know how to apply it, and you can't know how to apply it until you actually train yourself enough to be able to be able to teach it to other people. And so if you can't teach the information, then you don't truly understand it. And so therefore, I like to take as many notes as I can, because I love being able to teach things in new ways. I love being able to communicate with people so that they can understand what I am saying, because I know so many different languages to be able to speak to them in. But yeah, so I just wanted to leave with that.
Yeah, the thing is, before leaving, we all had to be students, you know what I'm saying? I was taught by my greatest mentor, Dr. Malachi Z. York, in that when he said, you have to learn to sit under one to stand above many. So, I second what you're saying, because, all the people that I've studied, all the countless and great people, man, I'm so grateful. But I studied them. I'm always studying. You're always taking notes. We are students. We're students of the universe, and that's what we have to always remember. We're always learning. It's 360 degrees, right? It never ends. There's no end to it. Go ahead, Will.
That's why I think me and you had that the ministry that I believe in my spirit is that I used to be in church and I used to always hear them say believers. Mm-hmm. And then I ran across a brother that said something to believe a thing is not to know it. Mm-hmm. And I started learning that point forward that I didn't want to be a believer, because that's forcing you to be locked in on what set of ideas versus being a constant seeker.
Yes, right.
Being
a
constant state of seeking, open for new knowledge, open for more right, understanding there's more truth out there than we limited to at this moment. The minute that we stop learning, you stop existing on a higher level. You see what I'm saying? Now, but that's, like I say, that's why I want to make sure that we are seekers.
Yes, it's fact.
In other words, like I say, it took me to this timeline to get to another brother like yourself, to get to this organization, because I kept seeking.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Kept seeking. I knew church wasn't my end result. But it wasn't taking me anywhere. All it was taking me was to eventually die.
Yeah,
they just wanted
that's real.
It wasn't trying to bring to life. They showed me how when you die, this is where you go. This is what you do when you die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the knowledge is life. Knowledge is power. We had to just decide that we want power. We
that's
had to
right.
decide, and like I say, constantly trying to bring new stuff. Like say, I laughed with the sister when she said what she said, because I've heard the information. Of course, I know some of it. And I love it. Like it's always refreshing.
Yes.
To hear it, because it does regurgitate better in your spirit. So now when you regurgitate it back out,
oh yeah,
you're more crispy. You're more clear.
Yeah.
Like I say, this is my time. I can listen to another hour of myself. I'm not,
Yeah.
But good job. Good job with the information, brother. I ain't gonna hold you too long.
Hey man, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody. I appreciate all of you. I see some of the comments, but yeah, this is what it's about. At the end of the day, what we have to do is we have to permeate this type of energy and build one another up. There's no one that's gonna build for us. All we got is us, and we better realize it. What we're seeking on the outside, we already have it. We were born with it. People like ourselves, it's our job to just raise the awareness in people. That's all we're doing. It's like Will said, we're constantly seeking. And in that process, we're teaching and we're raising the vibrations of our brothers and sisters to get them to a better version of themselves. Some of them are a lot lower, some of them aren't as low, but guess what? We just do our job to raise the vibrations and to make them become more conscious of the power that we have inside. So, you know, I thank everybody. We don't like to go too long, but I will see you all next week. Go ahead, Will.
Can I say something now? I know sometimes
Yes.
some of us be doing some stuff in the background, and sometimes we might not want to be on camera. But I would say for the future meetings, let the man whoever speaking see your face. That get them energy, that get them power, that get them confidence to know they talking at somebody instead of these pictures. I know sometimes we doing some stuff that we don't want to see in the background.
Yeah.
But try to have yourself ready to listen to that, because I know myself. I know when I'm speaking, I feed off your energy and your faces and what. Just be doing it over this. You know what I'm saying? You know, because like I say, you know, I want that brother to be excited and know somebody listening.
Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, look, just like that. Look. Go ahead, Brenda.
I was just gonna say it's so beautiful that Will said that, because really that's how you get empowered. Like you love being able to get the energy back to you. That's actually when you go the hardest, when you know that you're being able to touch the people, because you can feel the energy through their emotions and through their facial expressions. And
that is true.
Brenda, I said it for myself. Like I said, I'm more nervous talking to 3 people. But you get me in front of a crowd of 400, I preach the roof off.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's energy, man, and that's how powerful we are. Yeah, that's how powerful we are. It's magnetic. You know, I see. As soon as you said that, Omasius got on here. Omasius, everybody. If you don't know Omasius is the brother I've been telling people about. We're getting a lot of stuff together on the marketing, the technological aspect. So, you know, give us a couple months, and Omasius is he's gonna have a great presentation. He came right on. Let everybody know a little bit about you since you right here.
Greetings, family. I'm excited to be here. Greetings. How are you? Yes, I'm definitely excited to be a part of the team. For me, I started a while ago on this thing called Mastery. I had a company called Master Life Curriculum Accreditation Services. And because this idea of mastery has always been a part of my heart. Well, because we often are so, this country is built off of freedom. Whenever you are chasing freedom, that means you have to remember the fact that you are, or put into your mind that you are being freed from something. But when you're a master and when you remember who you are and what you're capable of, then nobody can give you your freedom. It's not necessarily somebody giving to you. It's what you have inside of you. So this whole mission of the organization is a part of my heart, and I'm happy to bring my skills and talents to this organization to help it grow to the entire globe. As Chris says, we have to have a global vision. And it's so easy to touch everybody on the globe, and you know, we with the right systems in place, we'll be able to do that. Because this message is one that everybody can resonate with, because every person has to tap into that inner master within to live the freedom that they deserve as God's chosen children. So I'm thankful to be a part of the team.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being
here. Welcome on board.
Yeah, welcome, my brother. Welcome. I don't know if Mike probably laying low, Mr. Angelus. You know, I don't know if you might say something.
What's up?
Tell some people some stuff about you. This is let me give him a little introduction. So Mike is when I tell you, Mike is like my little brother. When I first touched down in Alabama, there was a young, wild little kid, you know, running streets, tearing up stuff. And, you know, I mentored him, and, you know, to make a long story short, you know, Mike now runs $1 million company, you know, so he can personally attest to, you know, my lifelong mission, and that's to make, 1,000 millionaires, Black millionaires. So I'm happy that he's right there. But he's right here from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He owns a couple of companies. He's now in real estate. He's actually a part of our investment team that we're investing in Ghana, businesses in Ghana. So yeah, Mike, introduce yourself and let people know why you're happy to be a part of this.
Okay. Hey, everybody. My name is Michael Hamblett. And like he said, pretty much met me when he touched down in Alabama. So technically, I've been a student of Martin since I was 15. I'm 38 now.
Wow.
And so, yeah,
No, it's a blessing.
Yeah, so he done helped me on my journey as in, from street hustler to business owner. So everything that I actually have now, I do have to, give honor and praise to Mr. Glenn. Like I said, I own rental properties. I got my own tax company. I own, different little real estate companies, a part of the investment group. So, he done helped me, along the path to get where I am today. So like everything that he's actually telling y'all, like it is really worth listening to, because I'm a prime example that you can go from nothing to, making 7 figures easily. Like I'm from Robinson Garden. Like if anybody familiar with Tuscaloosa, Robinson Garden, like it was considered one of the worst hoods that you can be on the west side. And I was born and raised in the Garden. So everything that I have up to this point has been really all thanks to Martin.
Hey, I appreciate that. It's thanks to it's the God in you. All I did my job, and that was to show you the power you have within, man. And it's just a testament of your power, because you overcame a lot in order to get where you're at, coming from your upbringing, your circumstances. So this is what it's about, man. We're just transferring energy. It's the powerful source energy that we have in us. Mike is just an example. Like I said, that's all. It's just raising the consciousness of our people. And once they get it, it just moves, and we take over and we build, like Will was saying. We control our communities and everything like that. So that's what it's about. We got a strong team. We've got a lot of people. Of course, I kind of did this a little bit on the fly. I didn't really let this, a lot of people got the message late and stuff. But this is for us. So these Masternomics classes are for everyone here, right? It's for everyone to get to the next level, right? And you got to be real with yourself. If you're in business, you don't have any goals, let me help you get some goals. You know what I'm saying? Let me just do what I'm here to do. And that's to show you that you have no limits, because you got God in you. You see what I'm saying? Whatever the goal is, whatever type of business it is, that's all I'm doing. It's just energy coming through me, and it's transferring to you, because it's from the ancestors and it's transferring to me. I don't own it. I'm just willing to be a vessel. And you're willing to be a vessel to the people that you come in contact with. Taisha, she always just a vessel to somebody. My wife, I wouldn't have married the woman. She was a vessel. And, she always tell people when she met me, she met God. Well, I tell her likewise, because it's the energy. You see what I'm saying? Right. And so that's all we doing. We elevating each other. And that's what this Masternomics is about, because you guys got to be the investors. Right. Right now, we have 100 acres of land. Right. That's ours to develop it. Right. But what you put in it is what you will get out of it. Right. If we don't put nothing in it, it's just going to be some trees. You see what I'm saying? This country, these buildings we looking at, people put in some work. They put in some thought. Everything, all these skyscrapers, there was trees, just like what we got. So while we got the ability to develop it, but you got to understand investment. Let's invest. Let's build together. That's what this is about. Love. I love all y'all. Hey, look, so we'll talk soon. We're going to have a lot of updates. We keep upgrading this membership. They got a lot. Look, Omasia's got me working. I'm telling you, I'm about this stuff about to be falling from the sky. I'm talking about you ain't got no excuse. You'll have books, ebooks, videos, courses. You want money, whatever you want, we're gonna show you how to get it. Because we're going global. All right, I love y'all. Peace.
You too, brother. Let's get it.
All right, let's get it.
All right, brother.